John Boehner, 4 hours ago, said, about 3 hours ago, said that he is going to sue the president for failing to execute the laws of the country. Now, the Constitution, Article 2 of the Constitution is about the legislative, or the executive branch, the presidency. And it starts out, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. And then it sort of says that he has some latitude in the way that he does the things that Congress tells him to do. This is in Section 2. It says he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments, this would be his cabinet officers, upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices. Okay, but it doesn't say, you know, what he has to do or anything like that. But then at the end of Section 3 of Article 2, the very last end of the sentence, it says, he shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. So that, according to the Constitution, is part of the president's job. And the argument that Boehner will be making, I would bet, is that the president is not faithfully executing the laws. For example, immigration. There's an immigration law that says that if somebody's in this country illegally, they have to be deported. The president has put a hold on some deportations. I don't know if that's going to be the particular one they're going to use. They'll probably figure out instead something to do with Benghazi or the IRS or, you know, one of the boogeymen du jour. Boehner has not said exactly where he's going to sue, what he's going to sue for. I mean, this is so far just a threat. Nancy Pelosi came out and said that this is a subterfuge. In other words, it's like, you know, watch my right hand while my left hand does something else. She said that it was meant to give some aura of activity for the least productive Congress in history. In other words, Boehner's obstructing the president at every turn and damaging, you know, Congress is destroying the American economy. 3 million people thrown off on unemployment rolls. No help for people whose mortgages are underwater while they bail out the banksters. No help for students with student loans. All things that the president has tried to do something about. And in some cases, by executive action, he has done something about. He has done something about student loans. It's not a great deal, but it was all he could do within the law by executive order, by telling his agencies how they will administer these programs. And Boehner is saying, that's the job of Congress. That's not your job. And it's going to get real interesting if Boehner actually does this. And I'll frankly be astounded if he said he is going to and he doesn't. And of course, there's an election coming up in November. Obama's not on the ballot, but Obama's on the ballot. And here's how Obama's on the ballot. If the Republicans take the Senate, and Thad Cochran's election in the primary yesterday in Mississippi makes that one vote more likely, if the Republicans take control of the Senate, I predict the House will attempt to impeach the president in the last 2 years of his presidency. I think it will, over the short term, be harmful politically to some in the Republican Party, but they will do it in a way that does not tarnish the Republican candidate. Keep in mind, you know, they impeached Bill Clinton. Congress was unpopular for it. But what party held the White House after Bill Clinton? Well, I mean, you can argue that Al Gore actually won the election, and I would argue that. But the fact of the matter is that George Bush took office. And it was damn close. So where's this going to go? And I'll bet you that right-wing radio and Fox News is thundering about this right now. Because what this is all about, what this is really all about, is destroying this president. That's what the caucus room conspiracy was about in 2009. Then they had a follow-up meeting right after the election in 2012, where essentially the same group got together again and said, okay, wash, rinse, repeat. Let's make sure. And at the same time that they're doing this Reagan legacy project where, let's wash from the public memory the fact that Reagan had the worst economic crash since 1929 on his presidency, that he had a disastrous foreign policy, that he tripled the national debt, that he raised the debt ceiling 17 times, that he raised taxes on working people dramatically, doubled the Social Security tax, which is paid at that time was paid by everybody who made up to around $40,000 a year, and cut from 74% down to 28%, the top income tax rate on multimillionaires and billionaires. Forget all that. We're not going to have anybody remember that. Stopped enforcing the Sherman Antitrust Act, allowed corporations to get so large that they were pushing mom and pop businesses out of business all across America, completely changed the face of this country, appointed a guy Bill Bennett, who hated the education department as head of the education department and began the systematic dismantling of our schools, began the dismantling of the ability of state and federal government to fund public education, higher education. So in 1980, when Reagan came into office, there was virtually no student loan debt in this country. It was peanuts. It was like, a single-digit percentage of what it is today. 3, 4, 5%, something like that. And it was almost all people who had gone for graduate degrees, people who were getting their MD, people who were getting their PhD, and who would have the earning potential immediately out of school to pay back those debts. And now we have over $1 trillion in student loan debt. So the Reagan Legacy Project, which was put together in the early 90s, after the Reagan presidency, and is run out of a building about a block and a half from here, the Ronald Reagan Republican Center, has as its goal to set up a statue of Reagan or name a building after Reagan in every single county or city in the United States, starting with Reagan National Airport. They renamed National Airport to Reagan National Airport. I had a friend the other day who was telling me he was in Poland. I think it might have been Ron. I'm pretty sure it was Ron Hartmann, our business manager. He was over there for Normandy. And he was in Poland, and he turned around, and there's a statue of Reagan. I mean, they're putting statues of Reagan all over the world and whitewashing the history of the Reagan Republican presidency. They're trying to turn him into FDR in the memory of the people. The people actually remember what FDR did. You can actually see what he did. Social Security Administration is still here. You want to see what Reagan did? Look at the homeless people. But, they're going to make sure, these Republicans, they're going to make sure that the Reagan legacy that they have, which they have invented out of whole cloth by and large, their brilliant book on this is titled Tear Down This Myth, that the Reagan legacy remains intact while the Obama legacy, he was a Democrat, he was the first African American, while the Obama legacy goes down in flames. That's what this is all about.
There you go again.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shane. We'll be back.